that's something I have not shared with anybody on this channel, so you heard it here first.
There it is.
Open up, you open up.
Hi guys, I'm Hannah,
I'm Sadie.
and we're not straight.
We're gonna do something a little different today. A couple of our friends got us this really cool game, so we're gonna play that. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, there's a button down below where you can subscribe. And we just made an Instagram. A lot of people were asking for our Instagram, so we made one. And our handle is at Hannah and Sadie 10. There's also a link in our About section of our channel page. So you can check us out on Instagram, follow us there, comment. We have a lot of stuff that we don't talk about on our YouTube channel. So if you want different content, you can definitely check that out.
Yeah?
Okay, so this game is by a channel on YouTube called The Skin Deep. And the game is called The And. And the idea is that everything happens in the in-between, in the and. You're supposed to sit at least 1 foot apart, and you're supposed to face each other. And you're supposed to have a handful of these questions. There are cards. And you're supposed to ask the questions, the other person answers, and then it goes back and forth until all the questions are done. This is going to be part 1 of this. We're going to do another one of these, so we'll see what happens. We don't know the questions that the other person has picked for us, so we're about to find out right now. So here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
This is like so...
What?
All my questions are about me.
Good. I like talking about you.
This is so accurate. What's the most ridiculous thing I've done?
Oh my god. I can think of a few.
Give me a handful.
Okay. I think in like kind of a comical sense, like going from thinking you would probably be a nun to dating me. It's one.
It's hilarious.
It's a little ridiculous.
Wow, that's something I have not shared with anybody on this channel, so you heard it here first.
There it is. But I'm also thinking of like cutting all your hair off and going by Nicholas so that you could play football when you were a kid.
Those were, going by Nicholas was when I was like 3, and cutting my hair off was when I was like 10.
Oh.
So, I mean, they were definitely connected. Like, I wanted to be
Yeah.
able to play football, and I thought only boys could play football.
That is funny.
That is
And
pretty ridiculous.
like calling off your wedding. And
Also ridiculous.
also ridiculous. Those feel like a good array of
Yeah.
like funny to real to serious.
That's such a good collection. I feel like those are like the highlights that would make me sound like not a real person. Like, there's no way that those 3 things can exist in one single person.
Yeah, especially in the order that they did. But
Yeah, it was like, wanted to be a boy so I could play football, wanted to be a nun, got engaged, and then called off my wedding. That was a good one. You dug deep for that. That was a long time ago.
I know.
Those started in my childhood.
okay, next one. When do you feel closest to me?
That's such a good one. I think I feel closest to you actually when we have some sort of like discussion that's rooted in one of us feeling like frustrated or sad or upset or whatever, and we have like a really honest conversation, and we talk about why we feel the way that we do, and we can listen to and understand each other. I think that's something that we've grown to be really good at, and that to me feels super intimate, and it feels like really special. Like, I don't have that with anyone else, and so it feels like, it's like a reminder of like how like fulfilling our relationship is, I think, whenever that happens. And I think it's kind of counterintuitive because it happens when there's either a miscommunication or just an obvious, like, something, like there's some emotion that needs to, like, that one of us needs to talk about. And I think a lot of people would think of that as like a negative thing, but I think of it as a really edifying part of our relationship, and I think that's when I feel closest to you.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I would have come up with that, but the way you describe it makes sense.
I remember when you said that when I said that I didn't think fighting was like a bad thing. This is like a long time ago, and I think that was kind of what I was referring to, like what I was feeling was that I don't think fighting or having an argument with someone is necessarily a bad thing if you can get there in terms of communication, like if you can have that sort of open communication and be able to grow from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a necessary piece. Like if you just leave it, then yeah, probably fighting is a bad thing, but I don't think it is for us, and I don't think that I would categorize a lot of our conversations as fights or arguments, but
yeah.
I would say that you are an incredible listener, and like I'm learning from you to be better at that, and I think we have really good conversations where we can learn from each other and understand each other better, and I think that's really cool. It's really special.
I agree.
Okay.
What?
I picked this. Now it feels like kind of self-serving. What do you think is my greatest accomplishment that I fail to recognize?
Oh. That you fail to recognize. I think that for someone who's been raised in such a small town and in a kind of close-minded community, you are one of the most like understanding, woke people that I know. And I think, not that you take that for granted, but I think you take it as given when it's really not. I don't know. So cool.
Thanks. Okay, that's good. Okay.
You ready for this one?
I thought I was, but now I don't think so.
I just noticed another piece of this question. What is/was your greatest fear of getting married?
Interesting. Well, I didn't get married, so I think I can say from the is standpoint.
That's what I thought it was originally.
You didn't know it would have an added twist for someone who maybe canceled their wedding.
I did not. Didn't look closely enough.
I don't know. I think my greatest fear of getting married is the notion that there's such an institution of marriage that's been built up, especially in this country, but globally as well, that will bring added pressures, like societal pressures to do certain things, or that we would act a certain way, and that it'll kind of force us into a box of what marriage is or is supposed to be or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the freedom to just be whatever we're supposed to be because of that's what our relationship is. I don't want to be subject to some sort of like expectation list, like having kids or like acting a certain way, like within our relationship, and having those expectations kind of like put unnecessary pressure on our relationship. Yeah, that's what I'm most afraid of.
And do you think it would be like the act of doing it and being married that would kind of change the way we think about marriage, or do you think it would just be like other people's expectations and
Yeah, I don't think it would change the way that I don't think that it would change our relationship based on like we get married and then all of a sudden we start acting differently. I think it would be the outside pressures of other people's expectations or like societal expectations or whatever.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If you could have something of mine, what would it be and why? Can I tell you why I picked this question really quick?
Yeah.
I picked this question because you are not someone who is attached to things at all. So I wanted to see what you would say.
That is funny because I wasn't even thinking of things when you asked it.
That's what I thought you might say.
I was thinking of like characteristics.
That's totally fair game.
Okay.
However you want.
God, I'm thinking of like selfish things, like knowledge, like things that you know about, but I don't know if I would want to pick that. Like being fluent in Spanish would be so cool, and that's something that I've been admittedly slowly working toward, but I think sometimes I wish I had your energy, like your social energy, maybe. I think that when it comes to something like working out, I can power through, but if it's something that has to do with spending time with like large groups of people, I get worn out so quickly. And sometimes I wish that it were more balanced with yours. Like sometimes I feel like I can't keep up.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
That makes sense. That's a good one.
That is a good question.
Oh, sorry.
What would you be doing differently if we weren't together?
Interesting. Such a good question. What would I be doing differently? So much. Like so many things.
It is.
I think I think I would be struggling like in ways that with things that you have taught me about, even just little things. Like I get stressed and anxious and I avoid like doing things, and I think you do a really good job of very gently keeping me on track with like, hey, did you do this? Like, were you gonna call your mom? And were you gonna, like, when, now would be a good time, I'm gonna take a shower, and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I think like recognizing things that aren't necessary in my life, kind of like refining my values a little bit, I suppose. Like I think that being in a relationship does that for everyone. Like I think, well, being in a good relationship, I suppose, does that for people. Helps them kind of focus on what they want as a couple and as individuals. And I think I would probably be kind of lost in that without having you as like a really patient, thoughtful sounding board, who like echoes my thoughts back to me in like far more eloquent words most of the time. And yeah, I think so just in general, I think I'd be struggling. But like doing on a daily basis differently, I probably would be living in a house with a bunch of people or several people. I probably would be, I probably wouldn't enjoy cooking as much as I do. I probably would be less excited about finding new recipes and making stuff. And those are all like really good things. And I think, yeah, so I would be doing a lot differently, but I'm really glad I'm not.
That was so nice.
I thought I'd pull the old bait and switch, make you think that I was going to say something really mean.
I didn't think you were gonna say anything mean. The way you started.
I know. I did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. More about me. What is preventing me from becoming the person I want to be?
Interesting. Sometimes I feel like you are at odds with yourself.
Whoa. Did you just say I was the thing that was preventing me from becoming the person I want to be?
Maybe.
Jeez.
No.
I gotta put down the
Hold
mirror.
on. No. No, I think that sometimes you have goals for yourself that conflict. And then I think you run into them frequently.
Like what?
Like your desire to build up those like social groups and like be around people all the time and always say yes when invited to something, with your desire to like eat healthier and be healthier and treat your body better. I think those conflict constantly, and I think that you have a really hard time like picking one and you don't want to give either one up.
That's so true. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it. I think that you could do whatever you decided. I think that's absolutely true. I mean that. That's why it feels like it's not something that you can't change if you want.
Just maybe one day I want, maybe one day I don't want.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was a really good answer.
What do you think is the hardest thing for me right now?
I think at the moment, I think the hardest thing is knowing that you still have class and you still are kind of keeping on with things while a lot of the world is shutting down in response to the coronavirus, like distancing and the necessity of that. And I think that's been really hard. I think that's the easy answer. The hardest thing for you right now, maybe that's the hardest thing in general. Maybe just being a student and knowing that there's a lot coming up between now and the time that you're finished with school, like financially and moving through like your classes and working through all of that and enjoying what you're studying and kind of balancing that with the fact that that's only a part of your life right now. It's not, it isn't your full-time job or anything yet. As well as knowing that there are going to be like big decisions in the future about where you work and what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Is that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yeah, that's probably accurate. It's probably my biggest like background stressor, and I don't think of myself as having a ton of those, but this feels like a big one.
Yeah.
That's been ever since I went back to school. So, yeah. What?
I really did pick all questions about me.
That's okay. I thought you might.
It says so much about me. Where do you think I waste money?
Whoa. Oh man. I can think of a couple places.
You can say places?
Categories.
Okay. I can think of a couple places.
It's a where. So. okay, I should be really careful with this because the word waste implies that it's...
Yeah, there's a value judgment.
There's a value judgment, yeah. I do think that sometimes you waste money on food and drink that, I don't know, isn't that like the universal adult answer? Like, we have food at home.
Yeah. So true.
But because you make it, you don't want to eat it, and then you just want to eat out anyway, but whatever. So I think a little bit on that. And I think that, like, sometimes it's, like, mindless for you, maybe. Mm-hmm. When you're really hungry, I don't think that's a waste. But if we just stay at a place long enough and you end up ordering more things, that feels like we already decided to come here and be with these people, so I get that, like, the first bit isn't. But, and then I think that you and I have different attitudes toward, like, fashion and clothing. And I only think of that as a waste because I think that our wardrobe is awesome. Maybe that's because I haven't been living with it until, like, a year and a half ago. And now that I have it, it's like, I could wear this forever. I love everything in here. So when you order clothes, it seems to me like a waste. But
that makes sense.
I know that it makes you happy. You get really excited. So.
Okay, your turn.
How have we grown lazy in our relationship?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, I've been thinking about this for a long time, actually. I think we used to spend a lot of time at night just talking to each other for hours. Mm-hmm. And somehow, I don't remember that, I was still working, but I don't remember that being a source of a lot of exhaustion for me. Like, I didn't feel tired during the day, but I think we spend a lot of time like online on the internet, on our phones, or watching Netflix, or reading something, or like scrolling through social media at night, and that feels, the reason I would categorize that as lazy is because it feels like such a habit to me. For me, it seems like a big challenge. It might be easy for you to, like, put it down and, like, I don't need to use my phone, or I don't need to be on Netflix or whatever. But it doesn't seem like that for me.
Yeah. We've talked about this. And I think more than just a habit, it seems like it relaxes you.
Yeah.
So that has been kind of interesting. And that sounds like I'm just putting it back on you. But I do think that's true for a lot of people. I think that a lot of people can find, like...
Yeah, it is true. It does. It, like, relaxes me, like... And I think that is in part because it's a routine. And I know what's coming. I can, like, switch my brain off and, like, go to sleep, you know?
Yeah, like sometimes you pick your phone back up to go to sleep. And that's usually when I can't remember a time before. I don't even remember what we did before this, but you pick up your phone and then I turn sideways and, like, curl into your shoulder, and I'm usually pretty much out by the time you're done. But yeah, I remember being tired. I remember it being really fun and, like, exhausting in a fun way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe now we can stay up all night now that we don't have to wake up really early anymore.
Yeah.
But I would like to go back to that.
Me too.
Oh.
We're gonna call it. Thanks for hanging with us for round one. We'll be back with another one for round two. For another one of these. For round two.
Infinite rounds.
Infinite rounds. No, we're not gonna do infinite rounds. But
yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. I liked that.
Yeah, me too. That was really fun.
Yeah.
If you have other questions that you think fit in these categories, definitely throw them in the comments.
Oh my gosh, we have write-in cards, so we could
literally
we could Sharpie them in.
add these in.
Mm-hmm.
We can do kind of a blend of this and Q&A if we get some real heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.